Hello. Cool. Sounds like audio works. Tell me if it's too quiet or you can't hear me. You will hear a lot of keyboard clacking. There isn't really a lot I can do about that. I guess I can bring the microphone closer to me. 5 people watching now. Yeah, so my mic should work now. It's quiet, he says. Okay. Quiet. That's a problem we can fix. How about now? Okay, great. Cool. Yeah, that's intentional. I'm listening to some music, and it's funny. I get a little bit of a. I don't know if it comes off on stream, but I'm getting a little bit of tearing in my monitor. I suppose if I pause the music, I can try to add the game audio. Let's see how this works. So you should hear just kind of the city sounds and also the user interface sounds. There's a frustrating bug that I haven't figured out yet that the user interface sounds are just way louder than the environment sounds. And I mean, the environment is supposed to recede into the background, but the problem is really that the user interface sounds are just way too loud, and I can't seem to control their loudness. um, so what I was doing before I started the stream was trying to work on some performance and trying to work on some bug fixing for the blueprint stuff. Um, I'm wondering if that's a little bit too heavy for the stream, but I'll start with it and then maybe try to switch to something else. Yeah, the UI sounds. I could turn them off. Okay. I'm actually gonna put this in our list of bugs here. Our bug tracking. UI sounds too loud. Labels, that's a bug. Maybe it's minor, I don't know. Alright, well, it's on the list. Okay, so I have this game saved, so I'm just going to go to test mode. Because what I'm testing really is the blueprints. And test mode is really kind of for that. So I noticed this bug came in recently. Oh man. So one of the things that I'm working on is blueprints performance. And there's some other bugs that I'm working on too. So you can see the performance is really bad in this version. And a lot of that has to do with collision detection. I think the collision detection is the primary problem. So that's what I'm working on. And so the collision detection is done through these tables. They're one table per chunk. And so I have this object called a box, which is a two-dimensional box. And I've really optimized detecting when the two-dimensional boxes collide. And then I just collide with every chunk and then every box within the chunk. Why is I'm getting a call from a glasses store at 8 at night. I don't know why. It's weird. And so doing the collision with every chunk is kind of expensive and wasteful. So where is the actual collision? Get collisions. Well, it's not really the objects within the chunks. It's actually the chunks themselves. So if you have a 50 by 50 city, what is that, 2,500 different chunks, and doing 2,500 collisions to see which chunk it's in. And then you might do maybe not that many, but because a chunk is actually pretty small. You wouldn't have 2,500 items, in a chunk. But so what I was trying to do when I was working on the blueprints, and I just didn't get it quite debugged correctly, is if you get the four corners of the box and then do a little bit of math, you can figure out what chunks they could possibly be in, and then only compare against those chunks. So if a box straddles, maybe 5 chunks, it might be in a space where it's straddling, 9 chunks in terms of the Manhattan distance. So it gets the kind of the minimum x that it could possibly be, the maximum x, the minimum y, the maximum y. But I think that I didn't do the reasoning correctly. That's funny because it looks correct to me. Where's the C coming from? The C is the corner. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to count the number of chunk collisions to see, is it 2,500 or is it, more like 9, which it should be more like 9. Log info chunk collisions. Excuse my water drinking. Okay. So it's doing 100 collisions. Um, I, I guess that means that test mode is 10 by 10, which sounds right. I don't remember what I set it as, but 10 by 10 makes sense. It's surprising that just doing 100 collisions, but I guess it's doing 100 collisions on every road in the blueprint, and it's kind of a large blueprint. Um, okay, so I think, yeah, okay, I remember now. This is what I got wrong. So the minimum has to start at the end. Yes, yeah, that's what it's doing. So in test mode, it's a 10 by 10 space. Uh, the full city is a 50 by 50 space. So 10 by 10 space is doing 100 chunk collisions for every road. And hopefully it's only doing. So the other place to look is it doing more than one collision per road? And it's we could probably save on those collisions for sure. Oh man. Okay, well that's an improvement. So another bug I noticed. So I think I'm going to accept that as an improvement just for now. I'm going to come back to performance, but there's another bug that I want to get, which is that um, it seems to be getting the. Uh, I mean, yeah, I could do it every time the mouse position changes. That makes sense. I'll think about that. Um, that might improve things. And then this other issue that I'm getting is for some reason it's pushing uh, the road height all the way down. I think it's a bug in how it's reading the blueprint. So let me do a commit. Okay, well 0 doesn't sound right. Uh-oh. Okay. Alright, I spoke too soon. I think we're going to have to look at this. Oh, okay. I see the other bug here. And this needs to be floor. This one's going to be floor. This one's going to be seal. Okay. Hmm. So I'm wondering if there's another issue because it seems like it kind of slows down. Hmm. Alright. Yeah. And we're getting a reasonable number of chunk collisions here. You know, rarely more than 10, which is good. Oh. Huh. Collision 16. Hmm. Okay. I want to figure out why it's pushing down the road height real fast. So it reads 4 bits from the blueprint data for the Z, and in 4 bits you can fit from -8 to 0 to +7. And the reason why you only get to +7 is because the 0 you have to represent 0, and they represent 0 as kind of an implicitly positive number. So you only get 8 positive numbers. So the last positive number you get a 7. But I wanted it to be so you get a little bit more up than down. So I tried to change that. But it's possible that that's kind of where the bug's coming in. Because presumably what it's doing here is it's just reading oh shoot. I think it only loads the blueprints when the game starts, so I gotta read from that. Huh. I'm surprised it does chunk collisions right at the beginning. I wonder what it's doing. Okay, it's reading them all as 0. And then the 0 minus the Z, or minus the 7. So basically I treat it as an unsigned number that goes from 0 to 15, and then I subtract 7 from it. Why it's reading it as 0. So then the next question is, how is it writing it? crashed. What did it crash on? Oh boy. Oh. Huh. Date intersection, spawn vehicle, get node, equals 0. God damn it. There we go. Okay. Suppose I can do that as a commit. Let's just make sure it doesn't like crash immediately or something. Okay, good. Oh, that's interesting. It's only coming from... Okay, it's coming from both sides. Okay, good. Cool. Wow, it's doing a lot of chunk collisions. Why? Is it trying to spawn buildings or something? It's not supposed to. Not supposed to in test mode. Oh. Yeah, there's not supposed to be buildings in test mode, basically. So it's probably trying to build... It's doing the collision detection for a building, but then must not place it. There must be a test later on that prevents it from happening. It's like, oh, I'm in test mode, I'm not supposed to be making a building, and then it quits. Alright. I'm a little bit on a tangent here. So let's... fixing a crash when spawning vehicles. Okay. Alright, let's try to get back to what I wanted to do, which was try to figure out why the z-index is acting so weird. So what I'm going to do is open up the blueprints tool, just make one simple blueprint, just this little road. And then I'm going to save it. And it should... Oh, damn it. Okay, well, I suppose I can save it again. Ugh. Okay. I'll just have to comment that out. Or... Where was it? It was the collision table. I probably should have not committed that. So, a bit later, I think I'm going to switch to something that resembles, actual gameplay. I need to get more video content for Danon. Okay, good. Oh, that's interesting. it writes a bunch of them as zeros. Whoa, it writes a lot of them. Oh. Huh. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So this is it reading the blueprint. And that one seemed like it was correct, maybe? Maybe it wasn't. So these are the blueprints we took. It's good to know that they're all identical. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. That's fine. So I just want to scroll up a little bit here and see where it loaded blueprint. That's interesting. It wrote it back right after it read it. I wonder why it does that. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to archive my blueprints. Okay. 9580. This is where it reads it. Okay. So it does read it all as zeros. Hmm. It writes them as sevens. It reads them as zeros. Okay. So it writes it in there as 0. And then let's save it. Alright, and then it writes it in there as a 7. And then quit and restart and see how it reads it. So it reads them as 7, then it writes them back as 7. Here they are. Okay, I'm not sure what the issue was. Ooh. Made that one a little weird. There we go. So that's another bug to look at. Okay. I guess we can go back to the performance stuff. I'm just going to recapture that blueprint. Let's get rid of this one. How do we want to do this? No, not from there. I want to do from here to there. Make sure to get all the zones too. Okay. And then let's go ahead and save that. And then I want to see if I get the Z bug again, or why that happened, and then I'll go back to looking at the performance. Okay, I'm not seeing the Z bug. I am seeing. Oh, that's weird. Huh. It's always something. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just transition into a little bit more like gameplay, because so let's see, what are we getting? See, this isn't all that bad. Well, okay, that's pretty bad, but you know, for our purposes tonight, I just need to place the blueprints and you know, build out a little bit of a city. I'm going to start again, start a new city. And I think I'm gonna recreate that blueprint because it was a little broken. Uh-oh. Oh, that bug. Okay. Yeah, let me look at that bug. And that's a crash, so I really should look at that. Okay, it seemed like I was holding the blueprints tool on the edge of the map. That might have been... Oh, wow. Huh. Okay. Oh, okay. So here's what's going on. So I have a way to trip the debugger, and the debugger's pretty useful. Debug mode. That's not part of the production version of the game. Let's make a new city. Ah, it's interesting. So it's something to do with water, maybe. Okay. So now we get to see, this is where we are. So here's it applying the blueprint. And as it's applying the blueprint, so the split has to do with detecting road intersections. So it's trying to split part of the performance issue is that it's doing way too much splitting. So it creates this edge, 47, 144. So this might be a matter of just detecting that that's happening. 584, 12. Okay, so we're going to go to frame 2, which is this function, the add edge function, because from here we can read what the locations of each node is. Nodes are the intersections. So, as I suspected, they're placing them both in the same location. So that's no good. It's interesting that it created 2 different ones, but they're both in the same location. That's really not supposed to happen. Okay. And what was the frame above this? It was the 1, 1, 1, 2. So the question is, how did that node come about? I wonder if one of them's a pillar node. Let's go back to frame 2. I just want to 0 pillar and 1 dot pillar. No. And it's not supposed to generate the pillars with the blueprints. The pillars are what the bridges are built on. So the question that I'm wondering is, if it makes the node through this get or create at, they're supposed to detect that 2 nodes are in the same place. Now these 2 functions seem like they should cost more than they do in terms of performance. But I don't see them in the performance profiler, which is interesting. Okay. Okay. The other question is, how does the blueprint node get or create node at? Back to frame 3. I want to see something. Nodes.size. Okay, that's a lot of nodes. I'm surprised that it's making so many. Okay. So one thing that we do is we detect if there's duplicate nodes. So I could put a more aggressive check here and actually look up the nodes. So nodes index of I plus 1 if so if the two nodes are really close together, don't put both of them in the list. And I wouldn't be surprised actually if all 5 of those nodes are like scrunched up right next to each other for some reason. And why it's making 5 of them, who knows? Oh, I have to actually get the nodes. I keep saying I'm going to get to gameplay, and then I keep actually doing major bug fixing. Okay. So the problems seem to be on the water. I thought maybe it was on the edge too, but I'm not getting on the edge. That's interesting that it'll build it off the edge. I wonder what will happen. Oh. Oh, it actually builds it off the edge. Well, more you know. Man, look at that mess up. What are the changes I made? So we didn't figure out what happened to those Z's. Z index. Buildings in test mode. I'm just trying to get some of this code committed up. Fixing a bug where fixing a crash. I'm holding a blueprint over water. That seemed to be what the issue was. And the rest we won't worry about right now. Mostly that's just logging, so it probably can be discarded. So, trying to decide, what kind of terrain do I want for a city? So, it's kind of fun to generate it multiple times until you get the terrain you want. I kind of want a good coastline. It's like you want the coastline and you want the mountains, but you also want a big green space. It's a little bit like you want your cake and eat it too. There's a lot of hills here. But that's alright. I'm gonna start here because there's a lot of green space here, and it's just easy to start with the green space in the early part. I just want to show you this. So the hills have a little bit more value. The coastlines have significantly more value, actually. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate that blueprint that I had for the... Actually, let's do it a little backwards. We did it. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like a little spiral pattern. Oh, see? So I'm getting these little... It breaks them up in certain ways. In fact, I almost kind of want to restart because I'm wasting money here. I mean, I guess it's somewhat inevitable. It will break up at certain points. Oh, damn it. Cool. Kind of a spiral pattern. And then, oh, and I'm going to surround it with the higher speed road, tier 2 road. And then the idea here is, so it's kind of a 5 chunk by 5 chunk block, and I just cover it with industrial, just all the way around. Oh, weird. Okay. All right, cool. All right, now we're going to take the blueprint of it. And then get a little bit more money, take a slightly bigger loan. Oh. Weird. Ah, well, you're gonna build in that direction anyways. I think I'm gonna build out the neighborhood, but I'm not gonna try to do a blueprint structure just yet, because I don't necessarily know what structure I want, and it's kind of not a big enough space with the coastline here. Which I want to take advantage of anyways because of the property values. So I would expect that this one would become a major thoroughfare. And I'll probably weave through here to go on to this area once we develop that far back. And then this one is probably going to be important too, because I might expand this way first. And if I get to expressways, I'd probably put it along here maybe. So this part's a little bit tedious, just filling in this entire space with some kind of road, right? And that's kind of why I developed the blueprint system. So you don't have to do this, just repetitively. Thinking here. Ah, So one thing to, be a little bit careful of is, now I can't really. It's hard to get good traffic going this way because of all these little roads. It takes a long time to stop at every one of these little stop signs. Now we still have this major road, so it's fine. But that's just something to keep in mind, is that when you build all these, roads right next to each other like this, you don't get a really good place to kind of cross the neighborhood, which is maybe what you want. Oh man, why is it not generating lots in some places? This is why I'm doing this debugging week. I'm doing last week. I did a blog post about quality. Last week's theme was quality, and this week's theme is kind of quality too. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna write the blog post about. Might just be like a smorgasbord of like, these are all the things that I'm doing. Just kind of a smorgasbord blog post. It seems like there's... Oh, I missed a... Hey. There were a lot of lots that it just didn't make. It's weird. I might have to take a break here and get some water. So this design's a little weird, but I'm gonna duplicate it. This isn't like a blueprint that I would necessarily save, but I can duplicate it. Whoa. Okay, something's really broken there. That's weird. Alright, well, I guess I can't duplicate it. build another. And like I said, we're going to expand this way. Gotta get that valuable coastline. Hmm. Okay. Let's just keep going like this. Oh, let's change this actually. So what I'm gonna do here is, except I'm gonna do that and that. Actually, let's extend it all the way there. And toot, 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 toot. There we go. So now, this one kind of goes straight in. Oh man, but we still got these here. Cool. And then we gotta connect this here, and here, and here. Oh. While I wasn't looking, there's no longer very much residential demand. Wow, what is it? Ah, oh, okay. That's... Whew. Okay, that's kind of serious, actually. Let's see. So it looks like it's building them a little bit depressed. I'm wondering if it's a Z issue. Oh, you know what? I bet it is, actually. C and C times size. Okay. Damn. That's really bad. I might have to rebuild, like, this whole neighborhood, basically. Alright, well, this is why we test. So after I built the blueprints tool, you know, with the blueprints tool, you kind of get this click and drag box. And I was thinking it would be really nice if there was just a red box with the destroy tool. So you could just destroy this all. Alright, let's just quickly see if the bug... Oh, perfect. Okay. So that... Yeah. I don't want to let me destroy it. Oh. Now what? Why won't it let me destroy it? Oh. Why does it cost $500,000 to destroy an edge? So the problem is I don't have enough money, which it doesn't tell me. So one issue is that it's not telling me that I don't have enough money. 2 slash... Oh, it's because of the eminent domain. Wow. Huh, interesting. So I basically can't afford to fix it. I almost wonder if I wanted to just start a new game. Okay. So I'm just going to call it road build expenses, because all that it needs to know is that it's a mandatory expense, or a discretionary expense. Basically, this can buy function, it's asking, can you afford it? But if it's a mandatory expense, meaning paying for like a school, you can always afford that, no matter how much debt that you go into. The game will never prevent you from paying for the school. It's just you can't build anything new, you can't build any new roads, you can't even destroy anything, you can't even repair roads until you fix your budget situation. So the can buy just asks, what kind of expense is it? And if it's a discretionary expense, then it's you can only get it if you have the money. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, assuming that worked correctly. So see how it's red now? I can't afford it. Obviously I could take out a bigger loan, but, that's a lot of money to spend. So I have a line item for eminent domain. I'm now kind of realizing why I have that. Oh, that's interesting. So I oh. Huh. So I'm just going to add a constant here for destroying stuff. See, destroy cost. Let's try to put that kind of closer to, because I think I have some other costs in here. Oh no, I never got the road costs. I don't have the road costs in the constants.lua file. That's the Lua stuff that we've been talking about. So let's say you have to spend $5,000 to destroy stuff. Cost. So what I'm going to do is track the eminent domain cost separately from the bulldozer cost. And just anywhere where we change it. Oh, there is a road destruction cost. Selection graph element. Huh, where's the road destruction? Oh, wow. It's 5 million just to destroy a road. Well, that's not... Or 500,000 to destroy a half a million. Oh, well, that's just silly. Call it 5,000, which maybe isn't enough. I don't know, but pillar destruction costs 5 million to destroy a pillar. Yeah, 500,000 to destroy a pillar seems reasonable. Bridges are supposed to be expensive. Except now I'm just going to make this C destroy cost. So it's really destroy road cost. We might as well get rid of this one just for completeness. C destroy pillar cost. All right. Okay, so makes a separate transaction for the eminent domain. I'm surprised it doesn't set it to 0 on the reset. Cost 0, then cost equals 0. Okay, cool. So we separated out these two. Destroy pillar. It's 500,000. Destroy road for 5,000. Okay, so let's test this. Because I don't think I tracked the eminent domain in the road tool either. Oh. Kind of makes me want to do this. Of course, the road builder is just so complicated. You kind of don't want to. Oh. Oh. So that really has to do with the... has to do with this plans concept. Alright, well, I'm not going to get into getting the eminent domain in the road tools just yet, but eminent domain plus tracking plan. Once I verify that I got this working, I'm going to log off. Need to get some water, and I think I've been on for about an hour and a half, something like that. An hour and 23 minutes. Okay, so now this costs just 5,000. So that's good. And then this, what is it, not computing it? Because what's this value? Oh, it's just not computing it. Oh. Huh. Well, that's an interesting bug. Okay. So it's not building costs not loaded at start of game. I thought that they were. This bug. Economic. Okay. Now let's see. How much does it cost? See, just one little section of road with no houses on it costs 5,000. Now this one costs almost 60,000. But let's see how that's computed. Damn it. Oh man. Damn it. Cost, bulldozer cost, and expenses. Huh. Can I use Canva? Oh, okay. So I probably couldn't have done that. I probably couldn't afford to do that. See, now I'm overdrawn. Let's get some money. So that's gonna cost 18,000. There we go. Eminent domain costs. And now I notice that there isn't an icon for it. Parts/budget panel, which is kind of a trivial issue, but oh, do I keep the icons for that in money.cpp? Road, expressway, rail. Oh, eminent domain. Kind of wish I'd put a category for buses in there. And you know, there's always like 5 different categories that you realize afterwards. Oh man, would be nice if that was on the list. Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. I hope that it was enjoyable or that you learned something. And, you know, if you're still listening, make sure to join the Discord or the Reddit or follow us on Twitter. You know, whatever you prefer. You know, I might try to make this a weekly thing. So hopefully I'll see you again. Good night. How do I end this? And good night.